الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله أوله بلا أول كان قبله وآخره بلا آخر يكون بعده الذي قصرت عن رؤيته أبصار الناظرين وأجزت أن نأتي أوهام الواسفين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب إله رب العالمين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعليه الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين سيما بقية الله أعظم بقية الله خير لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين ولعنة الدائم على أعدائهم وعصب حقوقهم ومنكر فضائلهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في محكم الكتاب المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس إن خلقناكم من ذكر وأناثة وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير صدق الله العلي العظيم. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. حفظ الله أجورنا وأجوركم. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our gatherings, our meetings, our majalis to be a source of ointment, a source of release and relief for the heart of the Imam of our time, and particularly today being the day of Friday, the day of the 12th Imam, the day of Imam al-Asr. Once again we are deprived of his outward presence, and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala haste his reappearance and include us as his faithful companions and friends. Verse number 13 of Surah Hujurat. Surah Hujurat is a very beautiful surah, very beautiful chapter. All chapters are beautiful, obviously. Surah Hujurat tends to address to the mu'mineen particularly. It's one of the chapters that have a lot of advice in regards to moral character traits. That's why many of the verses of this chapter begins with Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. So it addressed to mu'mineen, those who are the believers. It addressed to them, and it kind of points out to the akhlaqi, moralistic, ethical aspect of mu'mineen, and it advises them. So it's a good chapter to really have a discussion on in regards to ethics. However, there's a very nice verse, which is verse number 13, which says, Ya ayyuhan nas inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa unatha. O nas, O people, we have created you as male and female. That's what we're going to focus tonight. We're going to look at the male and female perspective from Islamic point of view. What is the reality of masculinity and femininity in relationship to tawhid? As we said that we are trying to comprehend, or we are trying to investigate or understand the manifestation of tawhid, the manifestation of unity and oneness in the plane of Karbala particularly. And perhaps this discussion will kind of open our understanding towards the manifestation of the divine, the reflection of the divine, which is one, which is manifested in this multiplicity, in this takassur, in this that kasrat that we have. How can that be possible, right? So first and foremost, obviously, is that male and female. And as a matter of fact, man arafa nafsa faqad arafa rabba, very clearly been mentioned in many traditions that we find. And also alaykum anfusakum, the Quran clearly points out too that one should be very careful, one should guard and protect this nafs of insan. And what is this nafs? What is this really, soul of a human being, right? So the first thing that we kind of face here is that the masculinity or the femininity or the maleness or the femaleness that Allah have clearly pointed out that He has created us in male and female. Now, when we talk about creation, when we talk about manifestation, when you talk about reflection, it is polarization, clear. It is multiplicity, clear. Now, we have to come to the terms or come to understanding of this unity in this multiplicity. So to begin with, Let's investigate this verse, which is male and female. See, from the Islamic perspective, creation is considered as the divine reflection. As a great poet says that, Chun dar bini dar aine surat khudet ra, as you see yourself in the mirror, that is you. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, right? That is you, but not you. The same way, the creation is God, but not God. When we see ourselves in the mirror, that is myself, but it's not me. It's my reflection. Right? The same way, the poet says, the Persian poet says that the whole creation is that. It is God, but not God at the same time. So that's why the scholars have also pointed out to that the whole alam, the whole sort of creation is in the presence of God. That huzur and His presence is there. And Quran clearly points out to this reality as وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. Wherever you are with Allah. You are not the third, the fourth is. You are not the fifth, the sixth is. Right? And أَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. Wherever you turn, there is the face of God. So the point is the realization of that presence. Witnessing that unity. Like we said, when we talk about creation, when we talk about male and female, it is polarization to begin with. It is male and female. But this is this one divine reality that is manifested into the creation, into these different sort of colors and shades. But it is only one reality. Just like, for example, light. Light, whether that falls on the floor, we call that light. And if that is very much close to the fluorescent or the bulb, we call that light as well. It is one. There are different grades of it, but it is considered as one. It is not two. So that concept of unity, that understanding of tawhid, is that absolute, abstract, absolute concept that is like white. There's one white, or the whiteness. There's only one whiteness. It is not like two whites. It's one whiteness, right? So the same way, when we look at, as Allah is clearly pointing out to the male and female, but where does this really stems out from? There's clearly difference. In the physical reality, they are different, male and female physically. In terms of their soul, in terms of their psychology, in terms of their, subtle nature, they are different too. So this has to come out from somewhere, right? And that really stems out from that very manifestation of the jamaal, which is the beauty of God, and jalal, which is the sovereignty of God. So the male tend to manifest the jalal of God, according to the Islamic perspective. The male tend to manifest the sovereignty of God, the might, right? And the female tend to manifest the beauty of God. They manifest the beauty of God. Now, beauty is always mysterious, and beauty is always passive. And jalal, the might, is always active. It is natural. We don't need any reference as such. Just look at ourselves. Male is active. Might, jalal, is something that is active. And beauty is something that is passive. When we observe a beautiful sort of scenery, it is we who are active. But that beautiful scenery is passive. It's just there. It is me who says, oh, look at that shade. Oh, look at that color. Oh, look at, it is me who is active. But that scenery or that sort of picture or whatever, what I'm looking at is just passive. It's just there. It's doing nothing. It is me who is active. So beauty is passive. It's kind of like, it absorbs. It gives that tamkeen. That's why it's the tamkeen, that sukoon. When you look at it, it gives that. So femininity, female nature is that. And male nature is something that is jalal and active. And that is the very reason. Now we say that, oh, why there is no female prophets? It's discrimination against women. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It just can't be. Because men have that might, and they are waqimun nasa bil qist. The prophets have been sent in order that they establish justice. This is something in that male nature. When the sun will rise, the day will come. Oh, it is unfair. The moon should rise and the day should come. I'm sorry, it doesn't happen. It's not possible, right? So that feminine nature is very passive. That feminine nature is the jamaal of Allah. Now this jamaal is no less than the jalal. It is one thing. If I differentiate between the jalal of God and jamaal of God, it is duality. There are two things I'm talking about. We are talking about oneness of God. We are talking about unity. So the jalal is as equivalent to the very jamaal. It is the same thing, right? Allah is jameel. Allah is the one who is sort of qahar, or Allah is the one who is jalal as well. Zul jalali wal ikram, right? So if I say that jalal is greater than jameel, it's all asma ilahi, all the names of God, all the sifats of God, attributes of God, they are all equal. And they are not different from each other. But that's how Allah has said, khalaqnakum. Allah have created male and female. And for a particular reason He has created in this fashion. There is hikmat, there is wisdom behind why He has created this way. So now, as He has created that femininity or female which manifests. Now let's discuss few more examples in order to understand the jamaal of Allah, right? See, passive and beauty, as we said, it's a mystery. It is we who have to investigate, and it's always hidden. The feminine, the beauty is always hidden. I was just watching one of these discovery shows, right? The expeditions, right? They go to different places and they say, oh, look how beautiful this place is, which was never seen. It's unseen, it's like a virgin, so to speak. Nobody has seen this ever before. It's the first time we are filming it and we are relaying it. But what do they say at the same time? They say that there are much more beautiful places than this, what we have discovered. And they are hidden. So the nature of beauty is hidden, right? So as female manifest the jamaal of Allah, so for them, in order to be in that perfect balance and in harmony with their nature, they have to consciously hide themselves. That's what hijab is. You see? That's what hijab is. Our Sharia, the Islamic law, is based upon the fitra, upon the nature of man. Whatever we do, it relates to the soul and it relates to the nature. There is a reason behind it. So, I will repeat. When the lady is covering herself, she is consciously participating in harmonizing her perfection with the jalal of God, with the jamaal of God. Because jamaal is beautiful and it's hidden, and she's supposed to do that. That is why Siddiqa Kubra says that when that blind man comes and she gets up and she leaves, the Prophet says he's blind, but she says, I'm seeing. The best of the woman is the one who is not seen by anyone. That is the ideal. Not that she did not go to give the sermon, not that she did not go to knock the doors and you have usurped the the right, so on and so forth. Not that Siddiqa Sughra went in the courtyard of Yazid and gave the sermon and all that. We are talking about principles here. From the point of view of the principle. From the point of view of that ideology, that understanding, that deeper understanding. So this aspect of hijab, the reality of hijab, is that they consciously participate in hiding that. That's why God says, I mentioned this earlier, God is hidden behind 70,000 veils. And when somebody becomes mahram, God starts to unveil Himself. So this mahram and na-mahram and veil, comes from that. That is why you have these sort of grades and levels where, the lady tend to cover, from the Islamic law point of view, right? So you have that jamali aspect, which is that beauty, right? That is manifestation of that jamaal of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what they are doing. And you have that jalali aspect of the male, which is the manifestation of the jalal, the active aspect, the leading aspect, the establishment of justice to lead, right? Having said that, just quickly mention in the margin, see what does the 11th Imam says, that we are hujjat on the mankind, but Fatima is hujjat for us. That is the mystery. He is a male figure. He's saying we are, as a male, we are the proofs of God, but Fatima is hujjat for us. For what? For the Imam. That is why she is known as a mystery. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Fatima. That is why she is compared to Laylatul Qadr, the night of وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Laylatul Qadr. The divine, absolute beauty is Fatima. Now, going back onto our topic. Now here, as they are already manifestating the jalal and jamal of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at the same time as they are a human being, and every human being have the capacity and have the potential of both perfection within oneself. I will say once again. So this means that the female, outwardly she is a female and manifests the jamal of Allah, but inwardly she has the jalal in her as well, and it is required that she should have the jalal within her nature as well. And the same applies for the male. The male, he manifests the jalal of God, but within him he has the aspect of beauty as well. Serving. You tell me. To serve, is it the jalali aspect or it is the jamali aspect? Khidmah. What type of quality is khidmah? Is the jamali aspect. And the Prophet said that I love to serve my wife. Khidmah. Right? That's the jamali aspect. Although he is the jalal, the perfection, but to serve. I serve my family. I do khidmah. You see? So you have to have that balance. The outward nature must be in full harmony with that inward nature as well. If that inward nature of female manifests out, control, is that jalali or jamali? To control. Jalali aspect. So if the wife wants to control, the inward aspect have overpowered the outward reality of the jamal. That shouldn't happen. And that's usually, that happens. That's how we are. That's how we are made. Mother likes to control. So it's in her nature, because it's in essence, it has that jalali aspect, right? The same for the male as well. The male and al-rijal qawwamuna ala nisa, right? That has its own sort of tafsiri discussions there. So what I'm trying to say here is that the Islamic perspective of male and female is that. Now, tonight we have a special program of question and answer as well, so we got to wrap it up real quick. It's a very interesting topic which requires more examples to really understand. Inshallah, perhaps maybe in the future nights, if we could sort of touch basis on it. And that is the very reason why we find that the Prophet said that from this world he loved three things. One is the perfume, the fragrance. The other is the woman, and the third, which he said the first actually, the third I'm mentioning it here, is the prayers, which is the apple of my eye, which is the light of my eye. So two things are something material, worldly, and one thing is something that is spiritual. Now, why does he say that? Many of the Orientalists tend to criticize the Prophet, na'uzubillah, here. It is because the male contemplates the divine in female. The male sees the manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. of the divine in female. That's why Prophet contemplates that divine aspect, because insan is the one, as ahsanul khaliqeen, right, after he created man. So for that male, the only thing that is out there in which he could contemplate the divine to the full extent is the female. So here, as we kind of conclude, is once we have this sort of understanding in regards to our nature, in regards to the things that are around us, then that is the beginning of understanding of unity, of the oneness of God, of the manifestation of the divine in sort of different realities that are around us, male or female, or even the mountains or the light, because every created thing have that femininity and masculinity with it. When we look at the star, which manifests the nur, which manifests the light, when we look at the trees and the plants and the animals and the birds, we tend to see that, and other human beings as well, which should allow us to respect them to the utmost. As the fourth Imam says, do not regard three things little, because there are three great things hidden within these three things. One, never regard a dua as little. Mullah, we want big dua, not small dua. Good big dua, 5-6 pages, so that it is accepted. No. Imam says the istijabat of dua is in dua, regardless of big or small. The acceptance of dua is within the dua. Number 2, this is just a small sin. I just made fun of him, or I just fooled him, or I just kind of did something silly, for instance. Right? It's a small sin. I'm not committing a big sin, lying or murdering, or it's gunahan kabira, as they say. Imam says the azab of Allah is hidden in the guna itself. Do not regard it as big or small. You don't know. Respect each and every human being, because the awliya of Allah is hidden amongst human beings. You don't know. Oh, mashallah, he looks so pious, he has big beard or nurani or no. It is his soul. Who is he? I just wanted to tell one story of Hazrat Sulaiman's period for our little ones. During the Hazrat Sulaiman period, there was a bird who wants to drink from the pound, right? And the bird was about to go to drink. There was children playing there. The bird said, if I go, they're gonna throw a stone and knock my eye out. I'm not gonna go, better I stay. So the bird did not go. Then the children played and they left. An old man came with a stick, looking very Islami, Nurani, with the beard and everything. And the bird said, mashallah, he's a Nurani man, he will not do anything. So the bird goes there to drink. The man hits a stone, knocks the eye out of the bird, bichare. So the bird goes to Sulaiman. So Sulaiman, this is what happened, look what he did. Who was it? Was this old man who said, okay, it was someone. They called the old man, the court, and the bird was there. The old man was there as well, Nurani, good looking person, He said, this is what you did, look what you did. So I'm going to command that they knock your eye out. The bird said, wait. No, don't do that. Just shave his beard, because I was fooled by his looks. I don't want to take the eye off the old man. Just get rid of this. So it's not by looks. So Imam says the awliya are hidden amongst human beings. We don't know how each and every person connects with God. We have to respect each and every one person. Right? Obviously, there are ways of that as well being taught to us, which we'll discuss that perhaps later if we have time, as we are, in the closing, and these are the nights of Huzn. It's one of those nights that we discusses on the 6th, the Shahada of the great honorable son of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Hazrat Qasim. Every night is, as you all know, that they all died in one day. And we tend to discuss Shaheed on different occasions. Some discusses tonight, some discusses later. Because we have, 3 more nights which are especially for Hazrat Ali Asghar and Ali Akbar alayhi salam and Abul Fazl alayhi salam. So tonight is the night of this young lad who was just 13, according to some reports, and was really yearning to sacrifice his life for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. In and out the tent of Imam Hussein to really see and ask that, am I going to be shaheed or not? Am I going to be martyred for you or not, oh my uncle? Then Imam said, everyone going to be martyred. Then he repeats, then he asks, when is my turn going to come? One after the other companions have gone. The own Muhammad have gone, his cousins have gone, and when is my turn going to come? Imam says that you are the sign of my brother, and when I miss my brother, I take a look at you, and how can I'm the caretaker of you, and I allow you to really sacrifice yourself. Once again he insisted. Then the Imam inquires that, how do you find death? What is death to you? This is the household of eloquency. Nahjul Balagha, is the grandfather Amirul Mu'mineen, right? So he says, death to me is sweeter than honey. That's how he says death is. And we know what's the reality of honey in the Quran. Honey, the Quran says, is cure for everything. It's shifa in the honey. Now for him, death is sweeter than that. That's how he sees death. When he's on this haqq, right? Ali Akbar, same mantiq, same logic. When you're on the right, when you're on the truth, death is nothing. It doesn't really matter, as Hazrat Ali Akbar says, does it really matter that we go towards death or death comes to us when you are on haqq, when you are on truth? It doesn't really matter. So it's sweeter than honey. Some of the Maqatil reports that still Imam did not allow him, so he was a bit concerned and sad and sorrowed that Imam is not giving him permission to do so. Then he recollects that there was a writing from his father that he has tied as a hirz, as a protection. People tend to wear hirz. And then he remembers that his father had mentioned him that at a time of difficulty, you open this. And then he opens that. Either it was like a wristband for protection that he wrote, or it was a locket. The hairs that they have, they put it inside, those silver ones, you have seen it. He opens it and it was a letter from his father to Imam Hussein. And he brings this and the Imam reads it. And he says, on the day of Ashura, when the time comes, let Hassan be sacrificed to you, O my brother. Now Imam Hussein have no choice but to send him. The Maqatil reports there are two shaheed whom Imam Hussein himself prepared them. One was Hazrat Ali Akbar and the other was Hazrat Qasim. He tied the amama, he geared him with the sword and the armor, brought the horse and asked him and allow him to go in the battlefield. When he tied the amama, they say he opened the tail of the amama, which they call tahtul hana. And it looked like a splint. It looked like a new moon. And here he comes. Now, there are reports as well in regards to some sort of aqd, some sort of marriage being taking place. This is this is well commemorated amongst the Asians, Indians, Pakistanis, and also Arabs as well. Now, Shaheed Mutahari says that perhaps it was because that Imam wanted to send different types of fighters. So Imam prepared him as a groom. Perhaps the enemies will look at it, say, this is young lad who is a groom who have come to fight. Perhaps they might have some mercy. Mercy not in the sense that Imam Hussein was asking for water. No, Imam Hussein, like we discussed this earlier, that they will turn, they will not commit this horrendous act. So that is a report as well, that he was dressed as a groom. There's another report which says that Imam Hussein or Imam Hassan, they had this desire that my son should marry the daughter of my brother. Imam Hassan had this desire that my son should marry the daughter of Imam Hussein, as we have in the families, right? So as it was the last day, Imam Hussein recited an Aqd on the day of Ashura to fulfill the will of the brother. It is not like a celebration how we tend to, do sort of in different cultures and all that. They also do it, with all due respect, they do it because Imam Hussein couldn't do it on the day of Ashura. We are doing it now, So it's a cultural thing. But anyway, so Imam Hazrat Qasim bin Hassan goes and he fights. What a strong fighter at this young age and surrounded by the enemies. One of the musibat of Imam Hassan alayhi salam is very special compared to other shuhada. And that is when he falls down from the steed, he calls for the aid to uncle. Oh uncle, come to my aid. And Imam Hussein says that it is so difficult for the uncle when the nephew is calling for help and the uncle cannot reach. Here Imam Hussein with Hazrat Abbas, with Hazrat Ali Akbar as they were still alive, they went towards the aid of Hazrat Qasim, of Qasim ibn al-Hassan. As Hazrat Qasim ibn al-Hassan was fighting with the enemies, he entered the ranks of enemies. He cut open them and he entered them. And the enemies surrounded Hazrat Qasim. But when they heard that Hussein is coming to the aid of Qasim, they ran. And when they ran, Qasim was on the ground. And the hooves of the horses, the body of Imam Hassan, they galloped over the body of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. There was a stampede. And Imam Hassan gives his last salutation, Assalamu alayka ya Batil. Some of the shaheed, every shaheed, when they died, they give salams to Imam Hussein, to the master. Imam Hussein finally reaches there, places the head of Hazrat Qasim on his lap, cleans the blood. And here Hazrat Qasim breathes his last breath. And some of the Maqatil reports that when Imam Hussein tried to pick up the body of Hazrat Qasim, the limbs were dropping on the floor because of the hooves of the horses that galloped over the body of Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam. This young lad body was brought in the tents. The ladies came out. Farwa, the mother of Imam Hazrat Qasim, was there as well. And how is she seen? The ladies, when they pay attention to, they saw Farwa in the sajda, thanking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because she was worried that every mother is sending their children to sacrifice for Hussein. And Qasim is not given the permission. And finally, when the report comes of the body of Qasim is brought, she falls into sajda and thanks God that Allah have accepted the sacrifice. Allah la'natullah ala qawm al-zalim. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة لأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات.
The other one, Ali.